Hey guys, it's Derek with Automatic Door and Hardware. Today we are going to, I'm going to show you how to install the rollers and guides on a Stanley Dura-Glide automatic sliding door for a full breakout model. So first thing you have to do is remove your door from the header. So the easiest way I've found to do this is to loosen up your anti-risers. And I'll show you what they look like here. So they look like this. So when it's actually installed here, they're going to be in here like this. And these prevent your door from getting derailed. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna crack these two loose. We're gonna slot these down all the way to the bottom. So same on this side. And then you can literally just pick your door up, tilt it out, and then just kind of walk it out. Now there is a bottom guide, so you're gonna have to make sure that you gotta pick it up high enough for that bottom guide to get out of the track. I already have a door laying down here, ready to go. So this is what I'll be installing on. So first off, to get to the bottom guide, we're going to need to set the door on its side. You'll notice that there's going to be 4 screws right here on the bottom heel of the door where it pivots, and that's where our bottom guide goes. So here's a bottom guide right here. The Stanley bottom guide, this is what it looks like here. It is spring loaded. So we're going to pull out the screws here, and we are just simply going to place it in the track. All right, okay. So this just slots in here. You can hold on to the guide. Then you just got to line it up. All right, we're going to tighten this down, and what we're going to want to do here is we're going to want to make sure that we keep our door on the side when we move on to the rollers. What we don't want happening, what can happen is if you tip this door up and you want to work on your rollers vertically, this can actually get wedged in here and kind of lock up, and then you'll have to take a screwdriver and kind of pry it out. So that can actually get lodged into this aluminum extrusion. So watch out for that. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the anti-riser and rollers here. So anti-risers, unless you have them, unless they're like broken or they're so worn down that they will not hold your door in that header, that carriage, you really don't need to replace these. These shouldn't see much wear at all. So. Okay. And then important on orientation here. So the rollers are going to face inside the header. So I can tell by the way this door is radiused on this edge, and that there should be interlocks here too, that this is the inside of the door. So we're going to make sure the nuts are always on the inside. So we're just gonna get them all hand tight here. And you do not want to torque any of these down right now. We are just getting these on the door in position. I gotta grab the other anti-riser off here. So they're all snug. These can still move. In fact, you want these to be at the bottom position. So if you want to just hand tighten them at the bottom position, that'll work. And then you are basically ready to go. Now, couple important things before you hang your door. I obviously don't have a header here that I can show you hanging it, but I can tell you how you need to prep and get your door ready. So on the carriage side, we want the anti-risers in the bottom position so that it does not get held up on the anti-risers when you try to set those rollers in the track. And because we have these loose too, the rollers will be able to they'll pivot and they can rotate to the lower part of the eccentric, so it's not raising the door up too high, and that always gets adjusted after the door is already hung. Okay, so that's what you need to check on this side. On the bottom guide side, you're gonna want to check that this guide is not locked up and that it is in the correct orientation for how you're gonna set in the door. So the track is going to be like this. It'll be going down here. These forks will go into that guide track. So this is usually, I always start with the guide track. So what I do, I'll lift it up. And you kind of get it into position here. So what you're gonna do is there's no piece of glass in here, so I can stick my head through, but you're gonna set it down into the bottom track first, and then you can tilt it up into the carriage. Now, when you set it down into the track, it might come back out again as you lift up and get the rollers on the track. Once you get the rollers on the track, then you can come back down to the guide, make sure that is properly aligned and didn't lock up in there, and it will make sure that is seated fully in the track. Now, once you get your door installed on the header, what you're gonna wanna do is adjust the rollers. So before you tighten them down, you're going to want to adjust the door height. So right now, we're not gonna touch the anti-risers. Those are always done last. We're going to mess with the doors. So how I do it is I will watch. So you can do it a couple ways. You can watch, if you have a bipart, you can watch the side right here where it meets. Make sure that you can match it up with the other door. Make sure that they are even with each other and that you don't have a bigger gap on bottom and top. So that's what you're kind of looking for. Another good way to do it is to look at this rail in comparison to the side light. So this, if you look at the line that this heel style makes, it should match the same line as the side light behind it. Like if this was on the door and the door was closed, you'd slide it shut and it would sit like this. And this is the line we're looking for. So it's gonna actually be like this, something like that. This is like the line you're looking for right here. So I guess it is actually. It would be shut more like this. And then you're gonna watch this edge of the heel and compare it to the side light that's already sitting on the door, and you want to make sure those lines are parallel. So to adjust the door to get that, you're going to use your Allen wrench here, and you're gonna rotate this eccentric. So depending on what orientation you are in, it's going to raise and lower the door. So you're going to want to get that to the proper height and then lock this nut down. And you're going to lock it in place. So we'll say that's the right height. Then you're going to come to the other side and do the same thing. Watch your gap. This is going to raise up the heel side of the door. Get it to where you need it. And then we're going to lock it down like that. And then double check. Make sure everything looks good. Make sure the doors are aligned properly. There's no teetering going on. Once you verify that everything is okay there, then your next step is the anti-risers. So these anti-risers, they are not actually intended to roll. And I'm going to rotate this around so you guys can see it better. These are not intended to roll. They are intended to hold the door secure in the header and not allow somebody to just lift the door up and take it off the track. So what you want to do is you want to adjust this. So there's a roller, so there's a track right here on the bottom where the rollers are rolling on. And then there's a top of the track, or the top right here, that the anti-riser is supposed to be, just not be touching. So you can stick, maybe an 1/8 inch shim in there and then adjust it up to where that, where it's, just not touching that extrusion. So this should not be rolling. Once you get it to that position, you lock it in place, do the same with the other, and then, excuse me, and then check your door. Make sure that when you slide it open manually, that you can touch this roller, this anti-riser here, and it doesn't move throughout the travel, because it shouldn't. And that's how you know you've adjusted those properly. But that is everything, guys. Once you get those locked down, you're all set to go. And that's how you do the wear part replacement on a Stanley Dura-Glide. Thanks for watching.